This is the Transformers EARTHSPARK Deluxe class Bumblebee, part of the Mandroid Build-A-Figure, nothing to do with the Marvel Legends Mandroid. Here's the rest of the assortment. And you know what? When last week, the first wave of EARTHSPARK toys came out locally here in Manila, Toy Kingdom and Toys R Us, we didn't have the deluxe class figures. We had the one-step changers, we had those puppets, finger puppets, we had the spin changers, and we had the warrior class figures. No sign of the deluxes. I was really starting to worry that we weren't going to get these because the hobby shops were not pre-ordering the EARTHSPARK figures for obvious reasons, but it was the retail, the local importer who I was expecting to bring these in, and no deluxe class figures. And I was like, oh man, where am I gonna get these guys? We'll have to, I don't know, look for them online, maybe pick them up in country like Malaysia, Singapore, you know. Anyway, luckily this week, these just started hitting retail stores, like Toy Kingdom. And I picked it up. I picked it up for about 1,800 pesos, or about $33. Interesting. Bumblebee looks good. Let's get this guy out of packaging. And here is EARTHSPARK Deluxe Bumblebee out of packaging. And the figure actually turned out great. A little bit disappointed because I was expecting him to be so much more than the Cyberverse Bumblebee. I don't know why, but I was kind of expecting it to be like a Legacy or Legacy Evolutions figure, considering the fact that out here in Manila, the price point of this figure, the price is very similar to a deluxe class in the Generations line, like Legacy or Legacy Evolution. But sadly, it's not quite a figure for the Generations line. Obviously, this is for the EARTHSPARK line. It's geared towards a younger market. I get that. Just that it was so expensive, I was expecting a lot more. It's amazing how this guy can actually get into this pose and not topple over. I'll show off later, but the feet are just shaped so weirdly that I'm still amazed at how I can get him standing without a flight stand. Plastic quality on the figure is a mixed bag. There are some cheapo plastic. Well, some of the plastic is actually pretty good. P-naps are great. I think the sculpt very much looks like how he did on the show. Transformation is, again, okay. It's a little tricky if you do it the first time. But overall, I'm pretty much happy with this figure. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new EARTHSPARK Deluxe Bumblebee. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 13 centimeters tall, or about 5 1/8 inches tall. And for comparisons, here he is with the Rise of the Beasts, the Studio Series Deluxe Bumblebee, as well as the Netflix Earthrise Deluxe Bumblebee. The figure comes with a couple of things. He comes with a Build-A-Figure piece, the right arm of Mandroid, actually the arm of Hardtop, which, if you watch the show, spoiler alert, he did steal one of the Decepticon's arms to put on his own, make it his own right arm. Interestingly enough, there's no articulation on this arm except for the shoulder, no wrist or elbow. Interesting. And then he comes with his Stinger Blaster, which he can put on either hand, and you can actually store on his back. So let's talk about some of the things I did not appreciate on this figure. First off, the sculpt. Sculpt looks so much like I said, like his render on the show, but you can see the shoulders are a little bit overhanging compared to this one. This one's a little bit more compact. I get it. It's very difficult to achieve something like this and yet have the proper transformation in toy form. You get a lot of hollow spaces on the shoulder, on the ankles. I guess it's an engineering constraint. They couldn't have put some fillers or flaps. I don't know. Maybe they could have, but I feel it kind of ruins the silhouette. It's a small nitpick. It's a small issue. It will not detract you from appreciating the figure. Overall, I said I was very happy with the sculpt. It feels there's some missing parts with lots of gaps and all that. You can see it here from the side. Yeah, a little hollow. Also, the car bits, they're the ones that, especially the front part of the car, they're the ones that are made of softer, cheaper material. But everything else seems to be solid. The torso is actually pretty solid. Head sculpt is very solid. Legs are actually pretty solid despite having a lot of car bits. So it's only the shoulders that are actually, they feel pretty cheap because of the softness, but they're not super cheap. It's very firm, clear plastic, back part. All in all, it's a very solid figure, albeit it feels a little bit light than usual. Maybe because of the hollowness here and there, but very, very solid, okay? The head sculpt is actually pretty cool. One of my favorite parts of this figure is that head sculpt. You can see right here, very accurate, well, as accurate as can be. The eyes, nicely painted, all spark blue, silver face. Could use some more detail here and there. Some black wash like it has on the render. But overall, I am pretty impressed. You got some nice paint apps right here, the Autobot faction symbol. You got nice racing stripe right here. Taillights, we'll see more of that in robot mode. Wheels are unpainted, sadly. But that's about it. Some nice highlights. The yellow they chose, am I happy with it? I'm okay with it. I think it's an in-between. It's not too light, it's not too dark. But I do wish it could have been a little bit lighter. Yeah, maybe something closer to the Rise of the Beasts yellow, but articulation for the figure. He's got a ball-jointed neck, no waist articulation. Ball-jointed shoulders. There's a hinge right here because of transformation. Ball joint on the shoulder. You got a hinge on the I guess bicep. The elbow is on a ball joint. Hips are on ball joints. Got a thigh swivel, hinge knees, and you got a hinge for the ankle and a ball joint at the base of the ankle. So transformation, it's a little tricky, but it's okay. Pretty satisfying once you've done it properly. Okay, you want to raise the shoulders up like this. Fold in the fists. The hands are gonna come this way. You're gonna bend and then just gonna tuck in underneath the hood. There's a pointed tab right there that'll slot onto that hole right there. So you gotta sneak it in underneath. Same on the other side. You gotta sneak that tab in and just slide that arm underneath the hood. Not the most glamorous transformation of the arms, but I guess it works. Backpack, you wanna just lift it up like this, fold out these panels, and fold the backpack. Just a tip, if you want to return it back to robot mode, if you try and fold the backpack this way, you're not going to be successful. There's no way of moving the back panel this way. So you have to move it down and then somehow fold it back and clip it on. It took me forever to figure that out. But again, some tightness there. Could have improved it based on the clearances and all that. So fold out the entire roof assembly. Okay, and then the shoulders are going to just fold up this way, just over the head. The legs, rotate the thighs this way, or the knees. You want to unpeg the knee guards just by a bit. And then the feet, they're going to transform by rotating this way and pegging up like that. Rotate the feet and peg them up onto the leg. And then the legs are going to bend this way and this way. You want to go ahead and tab this part of the hood. Now the rear part of the car, it's going to tab in right here on the top of the roof. And then the doors are going to swing onto the side, and you got to move the legs a bit, catch that tab right there, and then tab them back in. Same on the other side. Move it out, catch that tab, and tab it back in. And then finally, just fold down the taillights, or the shins, the knee guards, and there you go. There is Bumblebee in his souped up supercar alt mode. He actually rolls very, very nicely. It's actually a terrific roll, considering the fact that these are mushroom pegged wheels and not riveted wheels, they actually roll pretty nicely. The only thing really missing is I wish we got an Alex Malto figurine with this figure. Probably too much to ask, but there's a lot of hollow spaces in this figure. I mean, they could have squeezed the budget a little bit more for a painted, sculpted Alex Malto figure. But yeah, very, very cool looking alt mode. Actually, the alt mode is one of my favorite alt modes on the show. And then for comparisons, here we have hubcap, select, and Studio Series B127. You can see he is a fairly decent sized deluxe class, even in alt mode. And so some final thoughts on this EARTHSPARK Deluxe Bumblebee. I'm okay with the figure. The figure's not too bad. It's not super great, but it's actually pretty decent. I'm gonna give the figure an 8 out of 10. Probably because there's a little bit of bias on liking the show, and I kind of enjoy this show better than Cyberverse. I thought the figure in general was really well made. The engineering was actually pretty sound when it comes to transformation. Articulation is great, details are great. It looks a lot like how he looked like on the show without sacrificing too much the transformation. I just wish a lot of the empty spaces could have been filled out, but other than that, I'm pretty okay with this figure. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers EARTHSPARK Deluxe Bumblebee. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews, and if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.